Yo, what is up guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on the league player RUBEN NEVES card. We're going to go through the card's Zito stats, clips and summary, as well as the grind requirements for you guys to get your hands on him. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below if you're going to be doing this card. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So guys, getting into the player review for RUBEN NEVES and the team that I used him in. I played him in the 4th team in that DM spot, guys. Now, I could have played him in the central midfield spot. He is a good transitional player as well. However, he does lack a bit in pace, and I feel like if he plays a deeper line, he's much more suited to that as well and able to play easier in that regard. In terms of the review, guys, we'll just get straight into it. 5'11", medium-high work rate, right footed, 4-star swing moves, and 4-star weak. So actually well suited for a defensive midfielder as well in terms of how he plays. And overall, guys, 4 games played, 2 goals scored and no assists. He should have had 1 or 2 assists for me, guys. His passing is phenomenal, and he does really well in terms of just being able to control the tempo of the game and being able to create chances for his teammates. Getting into player details, I tried an engine on him and I tried a guardian on him. The two things that I wanted to try out were whether if I boosted his defensive ability he would get a lot better, and his passing as well, and then I wanted to fix his dribbling a little bit as well in both chemistry styles. So those are the ones that fitted best for me. In terms of the key attributes, guys, that passing range, short and long passing, is phenomenal. Like, his passing is so good. 91 aggression as well, 90 stamina, and 87 stand tackle, 89 interceptions. Guys, this is actually a very good and serviceable defensive midfielder. I think if you improve the right aspects of his game, which I think the engine chemistry style does, then you have a very good card here. Shot power 94, 92 long shots as well. Really fits in well with how this card plays, coming from deep, playing that transitional player who's able to hold back and control the tempo of your game, or set off the attacks from deep as well with long balls, etc. You'll see all of that in the clips. The cons of this card, guys, the pace, of course, the agility as well, which I think is addressed slightly by the engine chemistry style, but I do think he does need that. The finishing isn't great on this card, so I wouldn't expect to be making deep runs, late runs into the box and scoring chances there. However, he does have long shots, so you can ping them from range and get a couple of good ones in from there. Finally, guys, getting into the traits, he's got the long pass or long shot take on the playmaker, which suit this card perfectly down to a T in terms of how he's able to spray the ball about and play from deep in that midfield. So really fantastic set of traits to have on this card too. Now that we've covered all that, we're going to get into what you need to do to get your hands on him. So guys, getting into this RUBEN NEVES grind, what you have to do to get your hands on this card: win 15 matches using only Premier League players in the managerial masterpiece, score 30 goals using Premier League players, assist 20 goals, assist from a cross in 4 separate matches, and score a finesse goal in 6 separate matches. Now guys, there's 2 objectives here which are a little bit annoying. The first one is a cross, and although crosses are fairly easy, because of the managerial masterpiece format, you have to use fairly low rated players. So I would recommend focusing your striker on being able to head the ball. Someone like a second inform Ollie Watkins will do really well for you in that striker position in terms of being able to do all these finishing aspects. And then the wins, of course, are a bit of a drag too. But otherwise, guys, these objectives are fairly okay. They're not too bad in terms of the overall grind. I mean, they are the same as all the other league players as well. It's just one of them where you have to do the grind and get it done with regards to all of these. And really only the wins is the one that takes the longest time. Now that we've covered all of that, we're going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of RUBEN NEVES' clips, and what you guys are going to see is his general ability to play that deep role in midfield and conduct that midfield like a conductor in midfield should. Now guys, the first thing I want to touch on, and you've seen it immediately with the first 2 clips here, is his passing range. His passing is phenomenal, guys, in terms of what you're able to do with this guy on the ball. Not necessarily dribbling, but just creating general opportunities, or starting off attacks in general as well, is very good with this card, and I felt like giving the ball back to him. Now guys, I wouldn't say that this card is necessarily worth the grind just because of that, but as far as comparing him to the other league players are going, this card was by far the one that was worth it the most. You guys can see as well his defensive capability. He's able to win the ball back very well and easily as well because of his size too. That really does help. Now that was something that I was really surprised about, guys, because on the face of the card I think his defending says 82. That is severely brought down by the fact that he has really poor heading accuracy. And therefore, guys, it sits lower than it actually should. His defending is actually very good, and he can play that defensive midfield role. Now, would I say he compares to any of the recent decent defensive midfielders that have come out? No, but what I would say is that he's a very serviceable player. He can link into that Bruno Fernandes or that Bernardo Silva if you have them in your team, and that's a real bonus there, guys, because what you have then is an ability to create a team which has all those linkability options in it, and you don't have to work or pay coins or put fodder into SBCs in order to to get this card as well. One con that I want to get into, guys, or two cons, and they always link together, are the pace and the agility of the card. This card does feel very slow and clunky, and you have to be very purposeful with how you play with this card. You can't be doing lots of quick turning movements, and I did try that in midfield. I did try to have a lot of quick turning movements with him. Unfortunately, what ended up happening was I would lose the ball more often than not, trying to drive out or turn out in midfield situations. So you do need to keep the ball moving with this card, keep passing, and pass and move with the ball was the biggest thing that I could say. Now guys, one other thing I want to get into, and you'll see it at the end of these clips that are coming up, is that his shooting from distance is excellent. He did score one absolute peach of a goal, and that 4-star weak foot really came into effect as well. He does have 4-star skills and 4-star weak foot, which is a nice little trait to have too on this card. What I would say is that his shooting from distance is sensational, and you guys are going to see that in the clips coming up. He managed to score an absolutely brilliant goal with his left foot for me. This one here, he manages to drive past the defense, deep run from midfield, and finishes a lovely chance there. But this goal here, picks up the ball there off the corner, takes it onto his left, and finesses it, smashes it into the top corner. So guys, getting into this Ruben Neves summary, no price to compare, guys, so we won't be comparing that in terms of similar players and linkability. We'll do all that in a second, but just getting into the stats first of all. The key ones here, of course, the long shots and shot power, phenomenal. The free kick accuracy, the short passing, the long passing, the vision, fantastic. Composure is at 91 as well. Great defensive stats, actually, considering that he doesn't look that great on the face of the card. You guys can see that the things that are holding him back are the defensive awareness, slide tackle, and heading accuracy, which you can amend with a chemistry style. The stamina and aggression, fantastic too. This card is really well rounded, guys, in terms of being the best of the league players that have come out. In terms of chemistry style, guys, we could look at the engine to see what that does to him. It does bring the pace up, of course, as well. Brings the passing up and brings that dribbling up as well. Not enough for me to fix that agility issue, so I wouldn't be recommending that chemistry style. I then put a shadow on him, guys, and that's what that did to his stats in terms of capability. You see what it does for his pace, which brings him up to an okay level. And then you have a really good set of defending stats as well. So for me, this is the one that fits the best. I wouldn't say that anything boosting his dribbling is really the way to go. You could, of course, go for an artist, which would help his agility a lot. But even then, guys, it still stays fairly low. For me, the shadow is the best way to go with this card. In terms of similar players, guys, he really is a conductor in midfield. And I feel like Joshua Kimmich is a good shout in terms of the capability, but I feel like this Neves is a lot more physical than that card. I think there's a lot of similarities to this Ilkay Gundogan. Now, I haven't done the 88, I've done the 86 rated card, but actually I feel like the 88 will be very similar to this card, and I feel like you could just get the same card rather than doing the SBC, and you'd get it for free as well. So if you're looking for a comparison card, that Ilkay Gundogan is a very good comparison there. In terms of linkability, guys, of course, got perfect links to Daniel Podence, Nelson Semedo, João Moutinho, Rui Patricio as well. Strong links to Portuguese players in the Premier League. Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva is in there as well. Ruben Diaz is in there. Of course, Portuguese icons are all in there as well. João Cancelo, Ricardo Pereira is in there too. Lots of linkability there as well. Which brings me into my final recommendation about this card, guys. Now, guys, as a matter of general thought, I don't think any of these league players are worth the grind. However, if I was to suggest that you focus on one ahead of Dario Benedetto and Javier Pastore, or Ruben Neves, I would say focus on Neves first. I don't think the other two quite live up to what the level is required at this stage of the game. And I think this Neves does a good job of being able to play at least some role in your team come the sort of next phase of the game, which is set to come out before Team of the Season. I do feel like this Neves is lacking in areas, but it's the best of a bad bunch, and I think that this card certainly can do a job for you in your midfield as opposed to the other two. So I do recommend getting this card if you're thinking about grinding out one of them. However, I wouldn't be going out and grinding this card if you're doing it just as a matter of, I think this card is a good one to grind out, and that's the one I'm going to go for. I would recommend putting your time and effort elsewhere. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button. Until next time, I will see you all in a bit.